Hey, everybody, welcome to the Internet Sports Broadcast. There is no sports going on, but we still have cool stuff to talk about. We got Smoooth Dave, Todd, Donovan, and Hurdie. Guys, welcome.
What's up?
What's going on?
How's your stay at home? How's your stay at home stuff going?
I haven't been at home.
Yeah, I've been conquering freshwater lakes. I don't know about y'all.
Okay.
Like I took over Lake Travis last weekend. Today, single-handedly, I took over Lake Granger.
And he hadn't told us what that meant yet. Do you notice that, guys? When he says he took over the lake, we don't know exactly what he means.
I'm telling you, it's like everybody thinks I'm like the aquatic popo, in my boat, and they get out of my way, and it's like I'm taking all the fish, and it's like I got a boatload of fish. I did it with one eye. I'm just a single pirate by myself because my running mate, Bearded Brandon, we call him One Hand. Usually I got my co-pirate with me.
Oh my God.
Brandon's my oldest son, and those two Goombas last weekend. I was babysitting most of the time.
Hey Dave, you want to do another show?
Well, no, I mean seriously, it's like we took coolers, we took the girls, and dominated the lake.
Dominated the lake. That's almost
the lake.
Donovan, that's almost scary when he says that.
There weren't any girls, trust me.
Okay, so they dominated. They caught fish that didn't have viruses. I'm so proud of them.
What about that Ricky Bobby girl?
Yeah. Okay.
hey, by the way, we missed you guys last week.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. Really did.
I was getting over bronchitis, lost my voice.
Yeah, I know you did.
Man.
Well, we're glad to have you back. All right, guys.
Y'all made me do all the talking last week.
That's not true. I talked right along with you. You guys need to go check out that show and hear the two of us. Remind me back of the old days when Smoooth and I used to be on bantering a little bit. He kept asking me hard questions last week.
Yeah, it was fun.
He put me on the spot like 4 times. It was awesome. I'm sure I'll get some feedback from that if I go look. I'm almost scared to go look at the comments on YouTube. That's beside the point.
Okay. Walk the plank, man.
Hey, so Smoooth, tell us who's coming on about 10 minutes. So our listening audience that's joining us will be privy to who's going to be on in a couple minutes.
We have a former NBA first-round draft pick out of the University of Alabama.
Good school. All right.
Drafted by the Seattle Supersonics, but spent most of his time with the Indiana Pacers. Derrick McKey will be joining us.
All right, great, super. Now, how do you know Derrick?
Same night I met Kenny Rogers. They were together.
All right, there you go. That's a story. We'll save that. Okay, that's cool. Hey guys, real quickly before we get him on, the NFL announced that they were expanding the playoffs by 2 more teams, and number 2 seeds, just to give you a quick overview, will not get a bye. So you're increasing a couple extra games next year.
Yep, and there'd be 2 triple headers on a Saturday and Sunday. That's what they said. The first week of the playoffs, which is very cool.
Well, I'm missing so much sports now. I wouldn't care if they just started at 8:00 in the morning with something and didn't finish till like 11 at night with something, anything live.
Yeah.
So how much you guys missing sports?
I'm lost.
And I've been fishing.
I know you have. You've been doing great.
And stealing coolers.
You've been a pirate.
Dude, I am a pirate, dude.
He's a pirate.
And a beard.
I
got one eye and I got a beard, dude. It's like all types of things. I'm going up the river because I already conquered the lake, right? Now I'm going after the river, right? And there's this coot, right? It's called a mud duck, right? It's in the water and we're just controlling, catching fish, right? Dog goes off, right? Well, it's real shallow water over there. Right? And Grandma goes crazy. He's like full of mud, right? And, my boat, Captain's boat, Captain T's boat's like, pristine white, right? Well, he gets back on. I have to like pull him up by his like life vest, and then he's just like full of mud. He gets all over it, right? I'm thinking, man, there is like more mud on my deck than a Catholic priest.
Oh man. But
Todd, you're funny, dude.
Well, if we're gonna edit
This is how the show goes, folks. When there's no sports. Hey, just take a couple GoPros with you and attach them to the back of the dog in your head, okay? And we'll see what the one-eyed pirate sees, okay?
Yeah. That's funny.
That'd be fun.
How you doing, Smooth? Smooth.
Trying to get my man in here.
All right.
So,
Well, I got Derrick on camera again.
yeah, he's off camera now.
Okay, we getting that mic
Just
set up.
Got to get his audio connected. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome
Hi.
to the show.
Thank you.
Hey,
Appreciate
Derrick, you're with Todd, Donovan, Hurdie, and Smoooth Dave. We're glad to have you, man. With no world of sports right now. Thanks for taking time and coming on with us. We appreciate you, man.
Cool. My pleasure.
Okay. So, Smoooth, introduce our guest and let's go.
All right. So we have with us tonight former first-round draft pick of the Seattle Supersonics, two-sport star out of Meridian High School in Mississippi, and a two-time second-team All-NBA defensive player. We have with us tonight Derrick McKey.
Yay.
Welcome, Derrick.
Hello.
Welcome, Heavy.
What's going on?
Heavy
Big
D.
Dave? Yes, sir.
So we got to talk
I
about the
can't.
nickname. You got to talk about the nickname.
Not many people know what the nickname is, and we're gonna keep it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Derrick, and Derrick, I won't say War Eagle either. I promise. I won't say War Eagle. Okay.
That's okay. Here.
I'm messing with you.
I tell you
Have
what.
your time with it.
I'm messing with you.
Hey, I'm gonna give you a roll tide. How about that?
There you go. Roll Tide. Absolutely.
Roll Tide.
Yes, sir, man. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, just taking it easy, trying to stay safe.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Trying to keep my distance. I pull a chair up to my front door to look outside, and I'm keeping my social distance.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I have a 10-year-old daughter, and it's tough to keep her inside and tough to keep her from wanting to go out and play with her friends. So
Yeah.
Yes,
I bet.
absolutely. So tell us, man, you were drafted by the Supersonics in the first round. What was it like playing in Seattle?
it was great for me, man, because I went into in that situation where there wasn't a whole lot of pressure on me. Going in playing with and behind a lot of veterans. Xavier McDaniel was there. Tom Chambers was there. Dale Ellis, Nate McMillan. So it wasn't a whole lot of pressure on me going in to contribute early on, even though I did, but it wasn't that much pressure on me to go in and having to carry a load of some of the other guys who gone in the first round had to do.
Yeah. And what was that like, Seattle? You know, you grew up in Mississippi, then went to the University of Alabama, and now you go out to the great Northwest. What was that like for you?
Man, it was great, man. I really liked Seattle, man. But it was a transition for me coming from Meridian, Mississippi, old country boy, going up there to the far Northwest. But the transition was easier for me because I was around a great bunch of guys, great coaches, and the people that were great. So, it's still one of my favorite cities today. If you can put up with the rain, which is more like a little sleet, so that didn't bother me that much.
Yeah,
I never bought an umbrella, so that should tell you something.
So
Now
who took? Hey, Derrick, this is Donovan. Who took you under your wing when you got there the most?
The first person that comes to my mind is Xavier McDaniel.
Man, he was something else too, wasn't he? Wow.
Yeah, he was. Good guy, tough guy. I remember going up there before training camp started. We played a little pickup. So I think it's something that Xavier did to everybody. So X-Man would test you out real. He would test you out real soon, see how tough you were, to see if you had it. So I think I passed the test. And, but yeah, I would say Xavier was one of those guys.
I was a big fan of the Sonics then, and I thought that Dale Ellis had the sweetest jump shot I'd ever seen in my life, as far as just
For sure.
technically, like no wasted motion, quick release,
Yeah.
same way every time.
A lot like Klay Thompson.
Yeah, exactly.
But Dale don't hardly ever gets the credit that he needs to get, because you can definitely put him in the two guard conversation with anybody as far as shooters. I played with Reggie. I put him there with Reggie. Nobody came out screens better than Dale Ellis. Come out the screens at 6'7", his size, but with the smooth stroke. Again, a lot like Klay Thompson. Dale didn't put the ball on the floor much, but he could shoot the ball. He could shoot with range.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that. Dale played inside in college, like myself. I think Dale ended up playing center a lot at Tennessee. So for him to make that transition, I think says a lot for him in his game and how far his game improved from college.
Very
Man,
cool.
that is cool. And, you mentioned some of the players up in Seattle that you played with, X-Man and Tom Chambers. Did you get you played with Gary Payton, and also did you play with Sean Kemp as well?
The glove.
I did. I did. I played with Gary and Sean maybe 2, maybe 3 years, but both young pups when they came in there, and Gary came in as confident as anybody could be. He was always a talker. He was talking when he came in. So, and he could back it up. And he was one of those guys. A lot of people don't know. Gary came a long way also from I would say his first couple of years to maybe his third year, because his first year teams or guys would back off him and give him the jump shot, and then he improved that in his game, but that also affected a lot of other guys on the team. The point guard who was struggling from the outside, it's tough to post up because guys tend to slack in, back off you, and make it harder for the guys posting up. But I watched them work, and with that coaching staff up there, get better, work on his jump shot. And he was a guy who always could score. He always could post up smaller guards, but he just added that to his game. He came in as a pretty good defender, and obviously was one of the best defending point guards that played the game.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. So how did you end up in Indiana?
The trade, me and Gerald Patio for Detlef Schrempf.
Detlef Schrempf.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, in the off season, because Detlef used to play at University of Washington. So in the off season, I actually would work out with Detlef in Seattle. So they made the trade, and actually I had just left the gym that day that we made the crib, just passed by the coach. George called, and on my way home, I got a call, and George said, we traded you to Indiana. I was like, okay. And he was like, well, hopefully I got, I hope this doesn't come back to hurt me or whatever. Basically, make a long story short. And then shortly after, he told me that Larry Brown will be calling. So Larry called me up, and we talked. And he told me he was happy to make the deal. He's been trying to trade for me for years, even when he was at the Clippers. So I was like, cool. So, that was it. Got to Indiana. And I think my personal opinion was, or is, that Larry wanted somebody that would allow the other guys to be able to play. As far as I'm talking about Rick Smits and Dale Davis and Antonio Davis, give those guys a chance to play more inside. A lot of their games, because I was a guy, I didn't need to score, so I could play the perimeter. I could play defense, and I didn't have to shoot. I didn't have to score. So that allowed those guys to develop and get better.
If I can remember right, you guarded just about every position too.
Yeah, at some point, they talk about Golden State today or the current teams or whatever, how they used to play, but we were playing like that in Seattle, and even Golden State was playing like that back then with Tim, Mitch, and Chris Mullins. So they had a big three back then. So at some point when we played Golden State back in those days, at some point I would probably end up playing all three of those guys during the game. So, I was pretty versatile, and I could play all five positions. I think, just like anybody else. I would struggle with Shaq and Akeem and those guys like that. Yeah, exactly. So.
Everybody did. That's why they're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well, that's
Sure.
a nice transition to my next question. You guarded Kobe and Mike. Tell us about that.
So it's I kind of compare them like people will. I say, well, did you like Godfather 1 or did you like Godfather 2? So, obviously, games are similar because Kobe modeled his game after Mike. And Kobe probably did a little bit more, and only because the game just transitioned to a different direction. So, obviously, Kobe was doing more because the guys were doing more in his era. But, I played against Mike more and longer. So I got a little bit more of him than I did of Kobe. And, I was a little bit older out there trying to guard Kobe. But both definitely tough competitors, two of the toughest guys I had to guard. And you just had to bring it, You just had to bring it, period. Obviously, I played more against Chicago. So, you had Mike, you had Scotty. And then there was a number of other guys. You had Kukoc at some point, Hars, and Rodman. So
Dennis Harper.
Yep. A lot of people forget about Dennis.
Yeah, he was a great defender too.
Not Dennis, but Ron
Harper. I'm sorry. Yeah, Ron Harper.
Ron Harper. Yeah.
So a lot of people they don't talk about Ron that much. And the thing about it was, before Ron got hurt, he was probably the closest thing to Michael back then.
Yeah.
So
very athletic.
just add him to the team. It took a lot of pressure off Mike, took a little pressure off Scotty. It allowed Mike to be fresh, to go out and score and do what he did well.
So any stories about Mike or Kobe you'd like to share with us?
I don't really have too many stories. Not many about Mike. I pretty much kept my mouth shut, knowing what he could do. Mike, and I played against Bird also, and Bird would try to get you to talk to him. But I kind of stayed away from that, from the trash talk to those guys who I knew could go out there and shoot it every time they got it. I'll tell you a quick story about Kobe. My only time getting thrown out of a game was against the Lakers. So we were playing, this was I think later on in my career or whatever, so I was coming off the bench or whatever. Anywho, we were playing in LA, and I was with the Pacers, and the game was pretty much getting out of hand. Early in the game, Kobe and I had got into it a little bit. We were talking back and forth, and the referee stepped in and said, breaking up guys, this and that. And the referee was like, don't worry about Derrick. I'll take care of this. And I told the referee, I said, no. I said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. So, like I said, the game has gotten out of hand. We were pretty much taking the beating towards the end of the game. So Isaiah Thomas was our coach at that point. So it was like a break in the action. So he called me over. He was like, Have? He called me Have. He's like, hey, I'm gonna get you out of the game because you don't need to be in the game at this point. I said, don't worry about it. They get ready to throw me out. So he nodded his head like, well, okay, blah blah blah. So the game goes on. So we're coming down on the break. So it's a 3-on-2, the Lakers way. Kobe has the ball in the middle of the court. Travis in front of me. We're both retreating. So I'm in the back. So I tell Travis, I said, Travis, let him go. So Kobe does something, gives him a move or something, and the crowd goes, ooh, blah, blah, blah. So he let it through, and I had a good shot at Kobe. And I got a pretty good lick on him. And I'll tell you how good the lick was. As soon as I did it, the referee pointed towards the dressing room. And I started walking. And we were still talking at that point, but he was the one getting up, and I was walking towards the locker room. But, so that's my story about Kobe. But definitely a fierce competitor. He had full army early in the game, so that's how we got to that point.
Wow.
Hey, Smoooth.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Derrick. Go ahead.
Well, you could take care of things like that back then. You can't do it now.
No, not at all.
No. 3 or 4 games suspension now. So
no, not at all.
This is Hurdie, Derrick. I'm going to ask Smoooth a question. Smoooth, how did you two guys meet?
Derrick, I don't know if you remember this night at Dickus in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And let's see, I was with Donnell Wolford. We came in and we ran into Derrick and Kenny Rogers, and that's where we met that night in Dickus.
Wow.
Yeah.
And ironically, my last game where I attended a Bulls game, I think was your last game with the Pacers in Chicago. It was a Pacers-Bulls game in Chicago. That was my last Bulls game. That last year, that championship year in '98.
Okay, yeah. We was it game 7?
I can't remember. I can't remember.
Yeah, we took them to game 7.
Yeah. Yep. That was my last game.
Yeah, and we knew we had a very good team, man, but it's just tough to overcome number 23.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about guys you played with in Seattle, but that Indiana team, those teams you played on, phenomenal team. Mark Jackson, Reggie Miller, Dale Davis, Antonio Davis. Did you play with Jalen Rose there in Indiana?
Yep. I played with Jalen. Jalen played. We actually played with 2 guard and small forward. Backing up Reggie and myself at one point. Then he was ended up going to the starting lineup. But Mark Jackson a couple times because Mark left and came back. Hayward Workman. Byron Scott played with us at one point. But yeah, we had some really good teams, man. We definitely thought we had just as good a team as anybody else at those times. Like I said, it was tough for anybody to get past the Bulls and Mike and all those guys, and then the Lakers had their run. So we ran against a triangle, a whole lot during my times in Indiana.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's great. That's great. And you held your own, and then you left Indiana and ended up with the Sixers one year before retiring.
Yep. Went to got the call from Larry Brown. It was the year after they went to the finals, and they kept having some guys go down, so they called me up. It was my last year in Indiana, and I got released, and I was recovering from an injury. And they called me up and said, we'd like to have you here in Philly. And I told him, I said, Coach, I would love to come. I said, but I don't want to come there injured. I said, just give me a little time to get better. And then, we'll go from there. And I kept rehabbing, started getting better and better. And even before I could call them, they called me up and said, well, we need you to come on. Because we got guys falling like trees around here. So I went on to Philly and ended up having a good time. When I first got there, I talked to Larry Brown. He was like, well, I don't know how much time you'll get to play here, but definitely think you could help us. So probably about a month in, I was getting on the bus, and Larry Brown said to me, he said, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were playing this much for us. And I said, Coach, it's cool. That's what I'm here for. Some guys go down. Somebody got to step up. But I was just happy to be there, man. I had a good time in Philly, man. Getting to play with another great player.
Allen Iverson.
Yep, AI and Dikembe and Derek Coleman, Eric Snow.
Eric Snow. He was one of my favorite players.
Yeah. So
Yeah, great defensive guard.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, sir, man.
So
Man,
Derrick, Derrick, this is Hurdie. So what is the, the NBA's been transitioning since you've been in it. What are the major changes or things that are different today that when you play?
Well, I think they wanted the game to be more exciting. So, it's more up tempo. And then the game definitely favors offensive players these days. And on top of that, these guys are bigger, faster. They're more skilled. So, and that feeds right into what the league is trying to do. And I think for me, sometimes you have to stop comparing how we played back in the day and how these kids play today. And I think for the most part, a lot of the guys have embraced the game today because it is exciting. It's how the game is just played today.
Right.
And I think we can appreciate and enjoy how some skilled these guys are and the things that they're doing, they're able to do. So that's pretty much my take on it. But like I said, the guys are so good. They're so skilled that they by it being a more of a perimeter game. You have guys who can really shoot the ball, and not that guys couldn't shoot it back in the day, but it's just the way the game is. For instance, like when I was playing with Indiana, if we looked at the score sheet after the game and saw Reggie Miller took 5 3-pointers. Now this is Reggie Miller. We'd probably be looking around like he must have really been feeling himself. He took 5 threes. Now today these guys are taking 15 threes like it's nothing.
Yeah.
So it's a big change as far as things like that. But like I said, I think it's a more exciting brand of ball, and I think that's what the NBA wants.
So when you were, I'm trying to think back because I was born in 1954. You're born in 1966. Who were some of your favorite players that you watched growing up in the NBA? I'll give you one. I'll tell you a person I loved. I loved Earl the Pearl Monroe.
Oh yeah.
See that was a little bit before my time.
Okay.
I was in the era where I watched Dr. J and I watched Bird and Kareem. And being down south, we got more of got to see the college like Kentucky, Maryland a little bit. But yeah, Iceman, Gervin.
Oh yeah. Right.
World Be Free.
A little bit of World Be Free. But we didn't get but a couple channels down south, so You know, we got the Lakers and we got the Celtics all the time and the Sixers. But yeah, those guys, watch the Sixers a lot. I like Bobby Jones and players like that. So I guess I could say I was a little bit of a Sixer fan back then, but
Yeah.
I think we all were, man. That was my favorite team.
Yeah.
I can name everybody on that team.
Yeah, so there's guys like that, and you know, even before I played, you know, I liked Jack Sickman even before I played for Seattle. I didn't know anything about Seattle at the time, but I remember I liked Jack Sickman.
He had a weird shot.
Yeah, he did.
He had a weird, awkward-looking shot, but it went in a lot.
Yeah, and he had some great players around him back then.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
You know, and you know, when I was in Seattle, you know, I would run the Slick Watch every now and then.
Yeah.
Freddie Brown.
Yes, sir.
Some of those guys. So it was great to meet those guys and have a chance to interact with them a little bit. Probably more with Slick Watch because he had a son, younger son, Donald Watts, who came along a little later and played at the University of Washington. But yeah.
So what did you do with yourself after you retired?
I do what retired people do. You know, I try to play a little golf, and then other than that, you know, I got two of my younger kids I try to keep up with. A younger son that lives in Georgia who plays a little basketball, and then I have my 9-year-old daughter here in Indiana. So just having a chance to spend more time with all my kids. I have 4, so you know, not as much traveling, but traveling around to spend time with my kids and just taking it easy, just living life, trying to stay healthy, trying to stay out the way.
Yeah, that's good. That's great, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on tonight, man. It's definitely a pleasure.
Absolutely.
To have you with us tonight. And
yeah,
we had your buddy on a few weeks ago, Kenny, and he did a lot of talking when he was on with us.
Hey, I know. I talked to him. I saw something. I was like, well, I hope they don't want me to talk that much.
Nah.
Hey, Hev, I know you, man. You the quiet type, so we weren't going to put you like that.
Hey, you and I know I don't talk that much. But I listened to some of it. I listened to some of it. It was a great interview.
Yeah.
And we know Kenny can talk.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. Well, again, man, we appreciate you being on. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Stay safe. Enjoy the family.
Thank you, Derrick.
And we certainly appreciate having you. And we'll be in touch.
All right, man. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Be safe,
Thank
Derrick.
you.
Thanks,
Okay.
Derrick.
All right. Yep. All right.
Well, guys, another good interview.
That's awesome. I could sit and talk basketball for 2 days with him, with all the players, and
yes,
you know, there's probably 100 questions I'd ask him.
You know, I meant to ask him if he remembered Pete Maravich, because Pete Maravich played
LSU, right?
LSU, but
and for the Jazz,
he died.
He played for the Jazz too.
Yeah.
Down in New Orleans, which is close to Mississippi.
I love to watch that guy pass.
Oh yeah, Pistol Pete,
just
man.
unbelievable, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
He brought back some memories. I was thinking, you know, we talked about this last week a little bit, Dave. You know, Earl Pearl Monroe, Walt Frazier, all those guys from that I used to watch. Russell. Yeah. Golly, man.
Yep.
What a great guy. Ninth overall pick, the first round. That's awesome.
Yeah. Just about
he was great at Alabama. I remember him at Alabama. Yeah. He was awesome.
Just think about all the great players he got to play with.
No kidding. And get all the cover. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, we didn't even talk about Sean Kemp. He was like probably the most raw physical specimen I'd ever seen in my life.
I like when he knocked him out. When he knocked him out, you know, unconscious. That was awesome. You see that?
Only Todd chirps up. The Pirates back.
Yeah, man. I mean, just think about it. He played on some teams with some very impressive players, and
Yep.
you know, with the Sonics, then
Yeah.
going to Indiana with all the stars there, and then
Yeah.
ending up in Philadelphia with
When they
the
went to the
Stars.
finals.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
what kind of compliment is it? And I didn't want to interrupt your interview with him, Smoot, but what kind of compliment is it when a coach wants you so bad on the team because you're a good defensive player, power forward, small forward, you know, wherever he had to play, to come on a team and take over a defense like that and say, I don't have to be a shooter. I just need to do my job so these guys can do their job. You don't hear about that in the NBA anymore.
Right, and not just any coach, Larry Brown,
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
greatest coaches of all times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know. So I mean that speaks to Larry Brown's eye for talent, because like Derrick said, even when he was with the Clippers, he was trying to get Derrick from Seattle,
Right.
and he ended up getting him when he was in Indiana, and then bringing him over to Philadelphia with him. So
Yeah.
that says a lot.
Compliment.
Exactly. But it also says a lot about the player that Derrick was. Derrick could score if he needed to, but
Yeah.
he was more of a defensive stopper.
Right.
And,
He was a glue guy. I mean, when I can remember watching him, every time he was on, he made the whole team better. Period.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he could take over and do some things if he wanted to, but he just got everybody involved, and you know, had to take on most of the time the best player on the other team.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that's, you know, that right there wears
That's
anybody
a job in
out.
itself.
That's
Absolutely.
what I'm saying. I mean, it's hard to score when you're having to chase somebody for four
Yeah.
quarters.
And if you were playing some of the other teams, right? Whoops, can't do that. If you're playing some of their teams, I imagine you'd frustrate people too, you know, which
Yeah.
would help your team because you were always messing with the guy you were put on, right?
Yeah.
To just keep you in the game. So
Yeah.
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 You know, you don't
Exactly.
see that today. You don't see that sacrifice today.
No.
Maybe you do
No.
with a few players. I'm not going to say that about everybody, but
Right.
you know, the game is you know, you don't hear about defense much anymore.
Right. Yes.
So there you go.
So ESPN has moved up their docuseries, The Last Dance, on the Bulls championship series.
Yeah. That's
It's
been
in
moved
April,
up,
right? April
Starts in
12th,
2 weeks, the
Yeah.
19th.
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 Okay.
Well, they
They'll show
picked a good time to release it because we're going to have something to do. Yay!
Yeah, they'll show. It's a 10-part series, and
That's
they'll show
awesome.
2 parts every Sunday night
Cool.
for the next for 5 weeks straight for the 10 weeks. And I'm so excited to relive some of that time that was happening around me being there and seeing it. It's gonna bring back a lot of good memories, and I just hope that I don't show up in there anywhere.
If you do, you're gonna have to tell us where it's at. 'Cause I'm gonna...
So Smoooth, are you still going to be able to go to the Bo Jackson golf tournament this year, or has that been put
Man,
up?
at this point, I don't know what's gonna happen
Okay.
with this coronavirus. You know, we're just gonna have to
Right.
play it by ear. You know, June is a couple months away.
I know, but you never know.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen. So we'll
Well,
see
if
what
you
happens.
do go and it does work out and we get over this, we want to make sure I put a video camera in your hand or something, or give you my GoPro. Because
no,
I'm going to probably give you my GoPro and let you just walk around with it and record
Oh
on
man,
it.
we'll be doing interviews for days.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
That'd be cool. Hey, there is
Yeah.
gonna be. I think they're gonna actually have a UFC here in April. They're gonna do.
Really?
They've talked about Magomedov, one that whooped McGregor really bad. He's Muslim, and Ramadan starts, I believe, in May, end of April, May. So it would be before then. But they're still trying to get that fight. And
Okay, cool.
I don't know where they're going to have it, and not going to be any crowd there. But
Yeah.
I think if they do a major pay-per-view like that, I think it would be, since there's no sports on, it might be the biggest pay-per-view event in history.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to watch.
No, there's nothing. I mean, if you were to have some sort of sporting event going on right now, you'd be in gold.
Well, I
Right.
mean,
Well-
literally, all you have to have is the 3 judges. You have
Right.
the referee. You have 2 people fighting, and their cornermen.
But that's what I'm saying. Anything live that's real time is going to go do really well
Yeah.
right now.
But I'm
Period.
saying it's not. I mean, it's social distancing and all that.
I
It
know.
seems pretty okay to me.
Yeah. I think we're all sitting tight, holding our breath the next 30 days.
Yeah, what they're talking about a golf match
The-
between Phil and Tiger.
They should. That's the probably best thing to do. It's outside. It's just 2 people. You don't have to touch each other's brothers'
Actually,
golf
we-
balls.
We talked about
Actually-
this last week, guys. Dave and I talked about which sports could you fire back up the quickest.
Golf.
And I think golf was what we decided because those guys are practicing on their own. All they have to do is show up.
Yeah.
well, this
Right?
is more than just 2 people. They're talking about Tiger, Phil, Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning, a foursome.
That
The 4
would
of
be
them.
fun.
Two against 2.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're working on that right now.
Well, I mean, NASCAR is doing virtual
Yeah.
NASCAR.
And the races have been pretty decent.
I haven't seen one yet, but they're making money on advertisements and
Yes, they are.
people are tuning in, and it's a
They're
different
interviewing
world.
the drivers sitting in their garages in their virtual cars.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, actually. That might be something they do on the side. Who knows? Something may
Right.
come out of this. Who knows?
Yeah, I tell you what, that's when the 8-year-old kids come out and kick everybody's butt.
Exactly. That's what they should do. They should put some amateur drivers go have some sort of sweepstakes, right? Where they draw out of a hat or something, a couple of kids that are really good, make them go through kind of like some screening and send in the video, and then put 4 of those drivers in some of those stars' cars and see how they do.
Hurdie, I'm going to tell you right now, man.
That's
it's
brilliant.
I'm telling you right now, it's like I'm the fastest kid in Central Texas, man. You get me behind the wheel, it's like virtual reality. It's like I smoke them all, dude.
That's awesome. Do you drive some of that stuff?
I'm telling you, I do it in the fields, and I do it on the computer. And it's like there aren't many things in this world that I'm good at besides like being a pirate, But driving a race car, dude, it's like you can't touch me.
Take those GTOs out. Yeah.
Dude, I do it, man. It's like I was pulling corn out of them the other day. It's like I don't remember eating corn. Oh, that's right. I drove through the cornfield. Yeah, that's a different story, different time.
All right, Todd's going to sign up and become NASCAR iDrivers. I still think that's a great idea that they should mix in some people that play these games a lot to see how they do. I bet they do great. I bet an 8-year-old kid would get in there and do well.
Yeah.
So
Whatever.
Todd, I told you your homework is to see Tiger King this week.
Yeah, I'm going to start that myself, guys.
Here's the thing, right? It's like the world's gone crazy, so I'm just doing my own deal. I'm taking
Me
over
too.
islands, and it's like fresh water, I'm dominating. It's
Smooth.
like
Todd
not a
doesn't
saltwater
talk, but when he
pirate.
does, we listen.
Yes.
Mhm.
Hey, man,
So-
you want to have some fun? Put a GoPro on. Come on, let's do it.
I'll give you mine. I'll bring you the GoPro and lay it on your front porch, and you go record with it, please. Okay?
Okay.
I'll bring
Alright.
it to you. All right?
Right.
All right, guys. What else?
NBA's got 16 players seated to play NBA 2K this Sunday evening live on TV.
Oh,
And
cool.
I think Kevin Durant's the number 1 seed based upon player ratings. So they're going to be playing each other in Robin tournament coming up this weekend.
Okay.
That's cool.
Boy, we're being creative during these times, aren't we?
Well, we have to, man. Adapt and overcome. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Adapt and overcome. I
You
love
gotta
that,
roll it.
Todd.
Hey, a lot of it just has to do with your attitude. I mean, how much mucks you got?
That's right.
Are you owning these, or are you buying these, or you renting them? You know what I mean? Like own it.
I do want to talk about college football a little bit.
Okay.
So I was on a discussion board talking about how this is going to affect the upcoming season,
Right.
and not necessarily just the season itself, but the teams in the season. because a lot of teams have these really highly recruited freshmen that are coming in to be their quarterback, right? Well, a lot of them come in and in December, and they have their whole spring practices and all that stuff to get ready for the year. That's all been cut out. So when you're looking in the grand scheme of things, because I think they're going to have a college football season this year, it just might be a little bit delayed, if at all. But the teams that have the junior and senior quarterback that's been playing several years,
Gonna do
they're
well.
going to have such a huge advantage for at least the first 6 or 7 games of the year.
That
which
makes sense.
Which bodes well for my Longhorns, and it doesn't bode well, hopefully, for the Sooners. So, since they're going to be breaking in a freshman Rattler, their quarterback.
Yeah,
So
if you don't get the reps,
right.
understanding the speed of the game and seeing it, then you got to go in cold, right? So you got catch up time. That's a good point, Donovan.
Yeah. Where's
the bell? Do I have a bell on here? No, I don't. I need
We
to get a bell for the good points, man. I can just ring it in the mic.
Well, you know what? We could do the pop the top. Here you go. I'll do it.
All right, pop the top.
Okay, ready?
Ready. There you go. Perfect. Love it.
Yeah. So now would probably be good a time as any to let you guys know about next week's guest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who we having on next week?
Who we got?
I'm ready for the memo.
Yes.
Baker Mayfield.
Woohoo!
There we go.
All right.
You know what? The great thing about that is I don't even have to look it up.
Donovan, I just pulled all my clothes off. I'm celebrating.
Hey,
Smoooth.
that's
Way to go,
great,
buddy.
dude.
I knew you'd remember to mess with Donovan.
Hey, that's great because I don't even have to take notes.
No, it'll be an abusive show from the start.
You know what? Baker Mayfield has talent, and I don't know why anybody can hate on him. You know what I mean? And
he does.
Texas too.
I agree.
You know? I'm tired of the haters. Just like people hate Tom Brady. You know, it's like that man. He deserves more than a modicum of respect.
That's right. They won 6 games. That's right.
Yeah, whatever.
hey, Smoooth, who you really have lined up?
There were no receivers, man.
Way to go, Smoooth. And
the
inside joke is you have to go back and listen to all the shows to understand why he said that.
Hey, I was actually going to write the name down. I was going to start thinking about what the notes I wanted to look up and do some background. But like I said, I don't even have to look up any. I know pretty much what I need to know about Baker Mayfield already.
Let's get Emmett on here, Smoooth. What do you think? Let's get Emmett.
Hey, that'd be nice. That'd be nice to have him. That'd be nice to have him.
Yeah. So.
Talking about Emmett Smith?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that would be. Oh yeah.
Man, I tell you what, that'd be crazy. I wouldn't say a thing. I would just listen. I would
really.
What Emmett Smith?
That'd be tough, but it might be worth a shot. Maybe we can get him through another door. Maybe we can get Dennis to get with Michael Irving or something. Get all 3 of them on.
He's a super nice guy.
Just
a quick story. The year he broke Walter Payton's rushing record,
right
before the season started, he was honored at an award banquet that the Payton family had in Chicago. They called it the Spirit of Sweetness Award, and they awarded it to Emmitt Smith. So I had the privilege that night of being his personal security at the restaurant.
Very cool.
You know, Smoooth, I got to interject.
Smoooth, man. Hey, let's take Smoooth to dinner. Hey, what do y'all think when this is over?
I'm saying right now, it's like, Smoooth, I'm giving you all the love I got, man. It's like I'm loving it.
I'm sitting here looking. That night, they gave everybody in attendance, it's a glass, and it's got Walter Payton and Emmitt Smith's image on this glass.
That's
and
cool.
It's sitting up in here on my trophy case right now, along with a mini box of Wheaties with Walter Payton on there.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
In fact, that was the year the Cowboys were on Training Camp on HBO. And he was mic'd up that night because they had a camera crew there following him around.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And real quick, we were leaving, heading into the restaurant to eat, and he had to go to the bathroom. So we went in the bathroom, and I had to make a joke. I said, hey, you know, you're on your own in here. And I said, you know, we used to, me and my buddy Tony, I said, you know, we used to be bodyguards for Walter Payton. I said, so, you know, that only goes so far. So when you come in the bathroom, you're on your own. We're not holding nothing. We're not doing nothing. And he started laughing. He said, remember, I got a mic on.
Oh, nice. That's funny.
But yeah, what a super
All right,
nice
guys,
guy, man.
here's what we're going to do. When we get through the virus thing, all four of us are going to go eat somewhere together one night.
Hey, go eat and go play some golf.
Yeah, go do something. We're going to all get together, okay?
It sounds great.
Yeah.
So,
my boat fishes 8.
well, let's go fishing in your boat.
You know, I got extra.
Hey, Hurdie.
Hey,
Yes.
I got eye patches for every day of the week, so you can go
Okay.
one-eyed pirate
Hey,
from
Hurdie.
Texas.
Yeah. Yes, Smooth.
Can we find a way for the four of us to do this show in a remote location?
Yeah, as long as I have a good Wi-Fi connection on the Zoom that doesn't go away. You know,
All
there's
right.
a lot of people on it right now. You know, because of staying at
Yes.
home. So
Right.
it's all about
Okay.
bandwidth.
Okay.
But the answer
Okay.
is yes, and we can do video.
Yes.
I
We
can
need to
turn
do
the
that.
video cameras on anytime.
We need to do that. That'd be
Okay.
fun.
All right.
That'd be fun. Yes, sir.
Well, hopefully, hey, we're not bugging you to get somebody next week, but the pressure's on. Okay.
Well, you know,
Yeah, don't feel the heat there, Smooth. No heat out there.
well,
I'm
Hey.
messing with you.
Dave,
you know,
Dave, it's been awesome you doing that too.
You are.
This has been
You're
really cool.
This has been made this show so fun.
Yes.
Yeah, I got 2 words, right? One is winning, and the other one is like
Winning?
smooth. You know what I mean? It's like smooth.
Smooth winning. There
It's
you go.
Smooth winning. It's all about scoring.
All right, guys. I'm going to
No,
take y'all
great.
out. I'm going to take everybody out tonight. So you guys stay very safe. Take care
You
of
too.
yourselves. Seriously.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Dave, I'm in that age range, so you know I'm sitting home tight.
oh no, you took a trip today, didn't you?
Yeah, but we didn't get out of the car.
Okay. All right. Good.
We
Okay.
drove
hey,
to we
all
drove
right.
to
I tell you
Mason
what.
and back.
I tell you what, I'm not working tomorrow, and I'm gonna go hit another freshwater lake. And
Okay.
I'm gonna make me a Hurdie flag. And
Okay.
make me a SD.
Would you please?
Dave. And
Put Hurdie SOS.
yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna find some islands, right? And I'm gonna
Okay.
plant a
Put my flag on it. I
and
want one on it. I want
You
one.
know what? I will conquer territory for y'all tomorrow.
I want Oak Island.
Well, territory for y'all tomorrow. Well, hey, you know what? You know what? It's like I actually hit Sometime Island today, you know, and that's where that duck was, and the dog went off, and I got a muddy deck. But yeah, it's like I'm gonna make some flags, and I'm gonna claim some land for y'all. So
Okay, we appreciate you doing that.
I'm out there doing it for
Okay.
y'all, and I
Picture's
don't know
worth
electronics, you know, and
Todd,
computers and all them
Todd,
things.
Todd, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
All right, I'm gonna do it, man.
Okay. All right, guys, let's get out of here. It's 8:30 or
All right.
something like that. You guys, Donovan, Todd, Smoooth Dave, myself, we want to thank you guys for being on the ISBN Sports Broadcast Network. And the cool thing is we had Derrick McKey on tonight, Supersonics, Seattle Supersonics, and Indiana Pacers. Man, y'all come back, check out the show. Good night, everybody.
Thank y'all.
Smoooth Dave out.
Peace.
Arr.